Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So, we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How's your week been?
So the week has been pretty dang on good, if I have to say so myself. It started off very, very stressful, right? Because work has been very stressful. I'm still using a new system. You guys know I've started a new job. But the weekend was really cool. It was enjoyable. I got a chance to relax and sleep in a little bit. So that's always good. Harrison had his first t-ball practice this weekend. And the cutest thing was he would hit the ball because, they had to do, batting practice or what have you. So he'd hit the ball in his little uniform and he goes, I did it. And everybody would, cheer for him. And so they let him hit 5 or 6 balls. And then with the 6th ball, he would run to the base. So he hits the 6th ball and then he runs after the ball to go get the ball and brings it back to the coach. And they're like, no, you can go run to first base. And the lady's like, over here. So he finally figures out where to run for. So that was really cute. So I'm glad that he was really excited about T-ball. I hope that he stays excited about it. So that was one of the highlights of my weekend. But yeah, I can't complain. I mean, it's been a relaxing weekend. It's been a stressful week, but this week has started off so much better. So I'm not going to complain. How was your weekend?
That's so adorable. I'm so excited for Harrison. And I think I saw him in swim lessons, no?
So yeah, we have a pool now. So, when you have a pool, you got to put these kids in swim lessons real fast, okay? Because nobody have time to be trying to catch somebody from drowning. So yeah, he's been in swim lessons now for about a month. He loves it. He still doesn't want to hold his breath for long underwater. He wants to swallow the water when they put him under, but he's learning. And all I can think about is all the chlorine and pee that's probably in that water that my son is trying to swallow. But, what can I do? He's 3.
Look, that's what the chlorine is for, to make sure that the pee is not poisoning him. So, chlorine, eventually he'll stop swallowing the chlorine water because it'll be gross. So, but, at least he can swim a little. That's so exciting. And he's playing t-ball. So he's going to be a little athlete. I'm so excited.
Well, I do pray that he is a little athlete. We'll see. The in-laws and the pressure. They're baseball players, so the pressure is on with Harrison and T-ball. And I have to remind them, wait, this is just T-ball. He's only playing for the very first time. It's hitting the ball off of a tee. Calm down. But they're very, very excited, and they will probably be at every game that he has coming up in March, because we'll have games every single Saturday from March until May.
That's so exciting. Now you're officially a T-ball mom.
Girl, pray for me. It makes me think I need an SUV. Seriously. I thought I would have a little bit more years until I needed an SUV, but this has really made me think I need an SUV. So we went and bought 2 lawn chairs. The chairs, the little fold-out chairs. We bought the one with the umbrella on top of it. Bought 2 of them, one for me, one for my mom. So those are going in the trunk. Then we ended up buying his little book bag for his bat. You put the bat on the side, you put your helmet inside and your cleats and all your stuff. And then we're like, okay, well, we need a cooler too, because he may be thirsty at these games and we need snacks, right? So you realize, oh my God, I have a trunk full of stuff. I'm not just going to carry it around all week. So it's just like loading, unloading, loading, unloading, loading, unloading. So now I realize probably by the time he's 5, I need to switch to an SUV. But
Nicole, you act like you're carrying around 5 kids. Literally, you have 1 child. That stuff that you just mentioned can go into the trunk. And honestly, Nicole, you won't have to bring treats every time because you all should come up with a system. So like one parent brings the treats one time and then the next parent brings the treats the next time. So every single time you're not carrying the treats, you should just have to carry your stuff.
Well, that's true. There are team moms. I'm not a team mom, but the team moms coordinate who's going to bring which snack. So you're right. But, we have to have our own snacks, girl. I mean,
I can't figure out whether you want the excuse to bring your own snacks or the excuse to buy a new SUV. I can't figure it out.
No, I don't. No, I don't want to buy a new SUV. I'd prefer to stay in my car. But I do realize with the more activities, think about it. We have a swim bag. He goes to swim practice on Wednesdays. He goes to T-ball practice on Thursdays now. It's like just switching a whole bunch of bags, Just saying. It's just a lot of hustle and bustle.
I mean, I get it. I just feel like, look, Miss Lisa has SUV now. Just put
she does.
Miss Lisa's car.
She does. My mom does have a little SUV. You're right.
Then you don't have to get an SUV. You don't have to get a mom truck,
Well, we'd never get like a mom mobile, right? I'm never going to be the woman to drive a minivan. Shout out to all the moms with minivans. We love you. Those souped up, overpriced Honda Accord vans, those Honda Odysseys that can't stay on the lot because everybody wants one because they really are like, you can live in them, right? I get it. One of my best friends has one. They are great for people with numerous kids.
I think freshman year at Xavier traumatized me, like having to drive my mom's van because back home, I thought I was slick and I had a 2-door Camry. But my mom was like, if you want a car, we about to pack this van up and drive you to New Orleans, Louisiana. And ever since then, Janine, no. Shout out to the women who don't mind the mama-mobile, but the way that Janine's comfortability is set up, that ain't what it's hitting for. That's just me. And I drive an SUV, which could potentially look like a mom-mobile.
Well, just note to the parents, if you send your kids, you hear Janine talk about how she went to Xavier with the minivan instead of her 2-door Camry. Do not send your kid to college with your mom-mobile. Let me tell you why, okay? I was telling a friend of mine this weekend how the Kappas used to have Kappa sleepovers. Who collected the sweethearts? The person that had the biggest car, okay? So you may send your child with something you think they want to be caravanning around. Next thing you know, you got a whole bed on wheels, okay? So watch out for sending your kid to school with the mom-mobile. That's all I have to say. Because Janine, quite a few of us could fit in your minivan and go on quite a few road trips. So, just saying.
I remember the van ended up in Thibodeau somehow. I don't even remember how it ended up in Thibodeau, but I remember it ending up in Thibodeau. And I also remember there not being enough seats for everyone to get back to campus in the van. So there were people who were just free rolling around in the back. Like, it was wild, though. It was wild. And the crazy part is most of us were not involved in the shenanigans. We were just kind of like escorts, I guess. I don't know. That sounds bad. We weren't escorting like that. I mean, like, we were literally there for the vehicle. Those were the days. I mean, that was what? 22 years ago?
22 years ago. Listen, I was there. I was an escort. I had my little car down to Thibodeau, right? The basketball team. That's all I have to say.
What? Lord have mercy. Why did we do that? Okay, let's go back. Let's get focused. Because we about to criminate ourselves. Lord,
right. Right. All right, Janine. So how was your week?
It was good. You know, we're gearing up for season, so we're back into like busy, but focused and like, you know, getting to the point where it just has to be balanced in life, right? Like, you know, throwing caution to the wind to try to figure out like what's going on and, you know, keep up with everything. You're never going to know or do or be able to handle everything, right? So like you prioritize and make sure that you prioritize yourself too. So yes, that's what I've been doing. And pretty much it. Got some fun stuff coming up over the weekend. We're supposed to have like, you know, our couples ministry at church is supposed to have an event this coming up weekend. So I'll let you all know how it goes.
So Janine, when y'all go to these couples retreats and things like that, does your husband like it? Or is it like, oh man, I got to go to this couples retreat?
I don't know. I'll ask him. Ken, pick up your mic. Okay. So Nicole wants to know the couples things that we attend for our couples ministry at church. Do you enjoy them or do you feel like I'm forcing you to go?
No, I do enjoy them. I think they're nice people. It's good to
be with couples. You know, as you get older, you don't really make friends like that. So it's good to have like-minded people around.
Spoken like a truly tame husband. He's going to say all the right things. I mean, it's like, he's like, yeah, I like it. And it's nice to meet other couples. And it's great. We're making friends as a couple. And yeah, they're great people.
So everything is not couple. So while it is the couples ministry, everything is not with your spouse, right? So like this month, it's because it was Valentine's Day month. We're having like a joint thing. But like last month, the women went to the wives retreat and then the men went to go play Top Golf. So like he enjoys that kind of stuff, right? Like he gets to go play Top Golf and he likes golf. So I think that he enjoys it. Now, sometimes if he has to talk, like if they ask questions or we're playing a game or something that kind of puts you on the spot, that's kind of when he will back off. But for the most part, it's fun. I think he enjoys it for real. I think he just enjoys getting out the house. And I think that he enjoys the fact that it's like church, but not churchy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's always nice when people can actually enjoy themselves and not feel like, I don't want to say the pressures of church, but feel like they're enjoying themselves with people that are other believers. So I think that's pretty cool.
I hope that the listeners are, y'all have been talking back to us and y'all send us some really interesting things. So I got a couple stories this week. So we have a lot to talk about because this week, Nicole, I sent you like 15 things that were sent to us. And then there were some more things that were sent to us. And we got to figure out how to sort through all of the things that are sent to us. But we appreciate you all sending things to us. And we want to make sure that you keep sending them.
Yes, we definitely appreciate it. I mean, we had a lot of good topics to thumb through this week. And we hope that you guys had a fabulous week. Keep telling us what you're doing on the weekend and join in the conversation. We love that. We absolutely love it.
Y'all keep emailing us and then don't forget to share us with your friends. You like us, rate us, review us, all those things. Those things that you hear every single podcast say, that helps our podcast, helps other people see us.
All right, Janine. So speaking of all those topics that were sent to us by our listeners, what is the main thing that we've been seeing on our timeline this week?
Okay, Nicole. So crazy exes are back on our timeline, but it's a little bit different this time. It's kind of like Crazy Ex and like full disclosure for the next. Like, I don't even know what to say, like how to put that in words, but that's kind of what it is. So like, if you have a crazy ex, are you to disclose this to the next person? And if so, when are you to disclose this to the next person? Let me just explain to you what I'm about to go into. There was this fine chocolate man that was on the internet. And he was giving us a little bit of story time, right? And so it caught our attention. I'm not sure if the story caught our attention first or the chocolate man caught our attention first, but either way, he caught our attention. So this handsome man takes us on this little journey back to 2003 to a situation that he was dealing with. So he said that his uncle set him up with a young lady that he worked with. And they started hanging out and, they were seeing each other, I guess. And, one day when they were hanging out, it kind of got a little hot and heavy and he ended up at her place. So they were, doing what grown folks do when you like each other and you hanging out. And he notices that her phone is blowing up, like blowing up. He said that it rang about 10 times in 5 minutes. He said he didn't really think anything of it, so he kind of just let it go. He's like, she's a hot girl, so whatever. That's not what he said, but that is my interpretation of what he was saying. He then said that the calls started to increase at some point. So now the phone is ringing like 20 to 25 times in about 15 minutes. Now he says he's giving this girl the side eye. So he's looking at her like, you about to answer this phone or no? And he said that the chick hit him with the, nah, I already know who it is. Now, ladies, Nicole, we all know that what we do and how we handle when we clearly are being blown up and we're trying to ignore a phone call, that's the response that this girl was giving this guy, right? So he says, well, since you know who it is, you want to let me know who it is? Because clearly they think it's important because they keep blowing up your phone. And she says, she's honest. She says, oh, it's just my ex. He asks her, well, are you sure I should be over here since your ex has blown up your phone like this? Like, should I even be over here at your place? And he said that she said, yeah, like it was cool. Everything was fine. She seemed confident in the fact that he was there. It's her place. It's not his place, whatever. But the phone keeps ringing. So the phone has now, I mean, if we're keeping track, it's now rung 10 times. Now it's about 20, 25 times. So we're talking in the course of the evening, we have more than 30 phone calls from the same person. Now, y'all, if there were ever red flags, I would say that this would be the point where you would think that there were red flags. Now the phone is continuing to ring. So this guy, let me remind you, this fine chocolate brother is looking at this girl sideways. Now, honestly, Nicole, I would be looking at the girl sideways too. So he's looking at the girl sideways and he hears, that the phone just keep on ringing. And so she's like, okay, so she finally answers the phone. Because at this point, like, girl, you have to answer this phone because it's 40 phone calls. Like, why are you not answering? So he answers the phone. She answers the phone. The guy hears the ex on the other end of the phone asking who she's in the house with. Now, the chick says, no one. Now, I'm confused because you were honest saying to this fine chocolate man that your ex was calling. But now when your ex says who's in the house with you, you say no one. Again, following the story along. So now the chocolate storytime man is really looking at this chick sideways. He's looking at her crazy. Now I'm looking at her crazy too because I'm trying to figure out why you lying. And he's trying to figure out why she's lying. He hears the young lady's ex. So he hears the young lady's ex says, well, if you are at home by yourself, why don't you come to the door? Now, he says that the girl, he says that she's a cute little chocolate thing. So he says that this chocolate lady gets super flush. And now all of a sudden, she shook. Now, all this time, she's been ignoring this 30 plus phone calls. They're still getting hot and heavy doing their thing. And she's handling it seemingly well until this point. So the chocolate man said that he got up because now he's not playing this game anymore. The mood is done. He's trying to figure out what's going on. So he gets up, he adjusts his clothes, and then he adjusts his waistband. And then this is when he says that he pulls out his 45 and he puts one in the chamber and takes off the safety. So for y'all who don't understand what that means, it means that he's ready. Like he's ready for whatever's about to happen. He's armed and he's ready. So once he takes the safety off, he said to the girl, open the door. So she opens the door and he says that when she opens the door, there are 3 men, all with teardrop tattoos on their faces. And he's looking at them like, okay, well, so he shows them his pistol and he said, I'm about to walk out. You need to handle this with your woman. Now, he then sums up the moral of the story or the point of the story time, right? And it's really a message to other chocolate brothers. And he says that women are out here gassing these men up. And he goes on to advise them not to be at a woman's house if you are not somehow prepared for anything. So he's suggesting that you should be strapped up or have some sort of way to defend yourself if you're going over these young ladies' houses, because he's saying that women are gassing these men up and basically putting their freedom on the line, intentionally or unintentionally, because of their crazy exes. Now, Nicole, here's where some things get a little interesting to me. Now, I get it. I have a crazy ex. I have several crazy exes probably, but the part that I'm a little leery about is, are we running down our entire dating history? What's happening? When are we disclosing that we have crazy exes? And do we need to disclose that we have a crazy ex? Are we actually putting men's freedom on the line? Because how is it my fault that my ex is crazy, one? Or two, how is it my fault of how you are going to react to my ex or that my ex is going to do something? That's not really a topic of conversation that comes up, right? And then, are we obligated to disclose our crazy ex information? I don't know. Or would you rather just let the crazy go on and be crazy, separate and aside and away from you? Like, I don't know. What's the point that you disclose your crazy ex? Like, what am I supposed to tell you? Like, I have an ex that can't let go. Like, we're not together. How is that my fault? I don't know, Nicole. What you think?
This is a very near and dear topic to me about crazy exes, because I've been in that situation a time or two. And what I would say is people should be upfront about what's going on, right? Like, nobody should get surprises that the person that they're dating has somebody that's crazy. So case in point, y'all watch too much Discovery ID. Let me be transparent with that. So for me, everybody's a potential killer. Everybody can snap at any second. You don't know where somebody's, what kind of mindset they're in. So if you already know that you're dealing with an ex that's a little wee off the rocker, you may want to tell the person that you're interested in to watch their back, right? They shouldn't be caught unexpected with your significant other creeping up on them, busting in your house and things like that. Like, that kind of stuff should not happen. Okay. That would end your relationship real quick with the person that you are dealing with. Okay. But one thing I would say is deal with the crazy person first before you involve somebody. So the story that you're telling about the guy and the girl is like, obviously still has some type of ties with her ex, so much so that he thinks it's okay just to pop up over our house and say, who you in there with, right? Obviously he hasn't dealt with that situation. So deal with your drama first, right? Get past your ex first, set some boundaries there, stop all communication with said crazy person so that them calling is not something that you have to be scared over. And it's not something that you have to avoid or lie to other people in front of to say, oh, I'm not where I'm saying I'm going to be. Like, just get over them, move past them, deal with them so that you won't have to explain yourself. Like, I think that to me is like the number one point in this situation. Deal with your ex before you bring somebody else in there, right? If you think they're crazy, get a restraining order before you start dating other people, because you don't want them to get so jealous and enraged that they come and attack you or that other person before you get some paperwork on them that says, hey, I agree this person is crazy enough that they can hurt me, they can harm me, and I want this person out of my life. You need to take steps to do that. The girl was dead wrong for sitting there lying in front of the guy that she's dating. Because he's like, why are you lying? If you over your ex, why are you lying about me being here? Why? And why is he popping up and bringing other people in the house with teardrop tattoos? That's just crazy. And it's a very dangerous situation. I think that we need to understand that some people, when they are in love, and put in love in air quotes, people will do anything. Even if there's somebody that hurt you, they would rather, sometimes, I'm not saying everybody, but the crazy ones would rather you be alone or with them, but not with anybody else. They don't want you to be happy. They want to be controlling, and they want to control the situation. If you know you're dealing with somebody controlling, you've got to remove that controlling person from your life. But some people think that it's not as serious as it really is until it's too late. This could have very well been a situation that got too late. This man pulled out his gun, made sure he was loaded, made sure the safety was off, and then 3 people come in there. We don't know how that would have ended up. He could have killed somebody. He could have been killed. She could have been killed. That's just an overall dangerous situation, especially when you bring somebody into the situation that don't really know about the situation. He's just acting to defend himself. He see 3 people roll up on him. He has the right to defend himself. But she doesn't think it's a big deal. This man that she's with doesn't know these people from Adam. So he's just like, I'm going to shoot my way out of here if I have to, which could be a very, very bad situation. So yes, I think that you have to be upfront about that in the beginning and say, I'm dealing with somebody crazy. I don't want to be serious right now because I don't want to get you in the mix of this. Or you have to, if you do want to get serious with that person, you have to still be transparent and say, this is what I'm dealing with. I want to make sure this is something you signed up for. If not, maybe we can just be friends and I can circle back around if you're still available whenever I get the situation handled. I just think that there has to be a level of transparency and accountability for you to tell a person what situation they're walking into before they walk into it. To me, it's the same thing as somebody has like HIV. If you know you got HIV and you don't tell me, and then I walk into that situation and then you tell me after the fact, that's not fair, right? Same thing about this. This is still a life-threatening situation this person's walking into. You know it and you don't tell that person? You're accountable then. Just my 2 cents.
So I agree with that, right? If you know that they're crazy. But like, how do you find out that they're crazy? Like, that's the biggest issue, right? Like, how do I know that you're going to be crazy? Because like for me, I didn't know that my exes were going to be crazy until they were my exes. And by the time that I found out that they were crazy, somebody was already in the situation trying to figure out what was going on with me. Like, I feel like it's a catch-22. Like sometimes you do have signs that the person is going to be crazy. But sometimes the crazy comes out of like left field where everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, everything is not fine. That's problematic.
Okay, so in this situation, because we'll get to you, Janine, but in this particular situation, she had to have known he was crazy. Why? Why do I say that? Because she lied. She lied because she thought if I tell the truth, he's going to go off the rocker, which means he is not either mature enough to handle the truth or he's crazy. One of the two. So you already knew. You already knew in your gut, I can't tell this person the truth because they're going to be crazy, right? And because there's no other reason why she should have told him the truth. It's not like, you're in a situation, you're, I don't know, going through a divorce or something and you got to tread lightly. No. This is a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend that you don't live with anymore. You don't have any ties to anymore. And you still chose to lie for no reason except for to make sure he did not go off on you. Okay. So that's how you know when they're crazy. When you think in your head, can I be honest with this person or not? If you know you got to lie, then they're crazy. And if you know you got to lie, that means you also haven't moved on from that person enough to be honest and say, hey, I enjoyed you for the season. Our relationship was good while I was there, but this is not working for me. And I'm not happy with you because of the following reasons. You can't have a mature conversation with your ex to say, this is why I want to move on. I wish you everything but success. I wish you all the success in the world with your future relationships, but I'm not the person for you. And I want to move on. If you have not had that conversation, there's a reason. You need to stop and ask yourself, is the person too controlling? Are they abusive? What are you afraid of to tell that person the truth? Okay. Now, Janine, I'm not going to get all into your personal situation, but in the back of your mind, you had to know this person is not all there. This person likes to control the situation. And if you know you're dealing with somebody that likes to control the situation and you have not allowed enough time to go by, then you know that the reaction is going to not be at such a mature reaction that you want. That's all I'm saying without putting any business out there.
Okay, I'm gonna just put my own business out there. Now, I'm not gonna put all my business out there, so y'all don't think it's about to be story time on my part. But I will say this: this is the part that I struggle with personally. Like, when is the disclosure? Like, when am I responsible to disclose this to you? Right? Like, at what point in my new relationship do I have to disclose the trauma of my prior relationship? And the reason why I'm asking this is because it almost will show up immediately if the person is crazy enough, right? Like in this man's situation, it seemed like they had, been broken up or whatever, but she might not even be serious with this chocolate brother. She might just be seeing him. And now she's going to look like she has something wrong with her because her ex is a nut. So I understand why she lied about it, right? Because who wants to be the girl with the crazy ex-boyfriend that has to disclose this when you're not even at the point where you know if you're trying to be with this man for good or not? Like, that's strange. that's a strange, uncomfortable, awkward conversation to have when you're just getting to know someone. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a crazy ex that likes to pop up at my house sometimes with his gangsta loving friends. Like, what? Who wants to be with that chick? Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like, who wants to be with that girl? So who wants to be that girl and disclose it? And it's not our fault that the ex is crazy. We ain't do nothing to make that dude crazy. He was crazy before. We just didn't see that he was crazy until we were already in the situation. But like, what?
But at some point we have to say this person is crazy and this person is dangerous. So then we take steps and get restraining orders against said people, and we get our numbers changed and we block them. So if the person still gets our information, we can still be honest, but we are not obligated to answer because this person is crazy. So if they call you, then you're calling the police to say, hey, this person is not supposed to contact me. Some kind of way they've gotten a hold of my telephone number. I am afraid, and this is what's going on. And at that point, you tell whomever you're with, hey, I hate to involve you in the situation, but I'm letting you know I have a restraining order against my ex-boyfriend because he's crazy. And I think that you have that obligation. If you're going to spend time with somebody, that is putting them in danger. Okay? So you can't put people in danger knowing that you're dealing with somebody crazy. You have to take steps to at least try to protect yourself and whomever you're going to be in contact with at the time to know, hey, I am dealing with somebody that has some loose ends, okay? And I have a restraining order against them. So this person is calling me. I'm not going to answer because of this, okay? The person that you invite into your home you should be comfortable enough to divulge that information. And if you're not, you should be in public places with that person because you should not be making out with them on your living room sofa if you can't say, listen, baby, before I get some, let me tell you about this crazy person that I'm dating. I'm just saying, if they're in your home, you should be able to tell them this is what I'm dealing with.
And see, that's the part that I have a problem with, right? Because we don't tell men that they're obligated to tell us about their crazy exes. We just assume that their ex is going to be crazy. We assume that if they have kids, their baby mom is going to be nuts. And we just prepare ourselves for it, right? Like nobody tells the guys, like, make sure that you disclose that your baby mom is nuts. Like no one's out here telling us, like, make sure you show up strapped to your man's house the next time. It seems to all be on us. And it's like, I can't control that man's behavior. Why are these men not talking to the other men about like, yo, you don't own this woman. Let her go. Like they should be having those kinds of conversations. I don't think that this is a conversation to be had with the woman who is crazy. Now, if y'all are toxic and it ends because y'all are both toxic, that's something completely different. But when a man is just crazy and possessive and narcissistic and all kinds of red flags over and over again, I don't think that it's my responsibility to do that. And in this particular situation with this chocolate brother, he was fine. I will say that. And I think I've said it probably like 10 times by now, right? But the issue that I have is that he was about to leave the house and he's got the weapon and he leaves this chick with the 3 dudes with the teardrop tattoos. Like, where is the accountability on his part to say, wait a second, this woman may be in danger and maybe she's not out here lying. Maybe she doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe she knows that this dude is crazy. She tried to not answer the phone. Like, at no point did he feel like he should try to make sure that she was okay either. At least not in the story time that he told us. But my point is, why is it always on us?
So it's not always on us. It's on the person that's in the relationship. So the chocolate brother, I think, did the right thing. That could have come across real bad if he had stayed. It would have been an argument. He already had a weapon that was drawn. Like, it could have been bad. So the accountability is not just on the woman to divulge the information. It's on the men too. The men are obligated to say if they have a crazy ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, that person that they're dating, the new person, has the right to know what information. This is not just for the woman to divulge information. This is for the man to divulge information as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I just feel like, look, people snap, right? Like there's a whole show about it. And it's not just women that snap. I just feel like Yeah, you can do all the disclosing you want, but at some point, like the people who are being crazy have to take responsibility for how crazy they're being. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Janine. So are you ready to talk to some of these letters from our listeners?
Let's do it.
All right, so the first letter says, Nicole and Janine, my best friend is estranged from her crazy ex-boyfriend. She broke up with him because he cheated on her. Now he's calling and popping up wherever she goes. She thinks it's cute and shows his commitment to getting back with her, but I think it's a little creepy. One evening, he was outside of her house when we got back from hanging out in the lounge. It was almost 2:30 in the morning and apparently had been there since she left the house because he was trying to get her to stay so he could talk to her. Now it's getting a little more dangerous because she's starting to date other guys. He showed up to a movie theater and confronted her date before. He's even told her she better not have company at her house. I'd hate to see what would happen if she did. She sees him on her camera at random times in the middle of the night, just lurking. He doesn't ring the doorbell most times. He just walks to the front porch and sometimes sits in one of the chairs and then goes home. She says he's harmless, but it's been over 4 months since they broke up and he's not slacking off. Ladies, am I being too overprotective of my friend, or do you think this is a problem as well? How should I help my friend? Casey.
Okay, so it was a lot of details in this letter and I had to write them all down because this was a lot. So Casey, let me be very clear with you. The only thing that you can do is advise your friend. You can't change anything. You know, we obviously hope that this ends in the best manner, but I'm saying that you cannot change anything because you are not one of the two parties involved. And I don't want you to feel the responsibility of having to save your friend. You really want to help her and you want to do everything that you possibly can, but you can't force her to do anything. With that being said, I would strongly suggest that you advise your friend to get a restraining order on this dude. There were multiple times in this letter that you said that she thinks it's harmless. She thinks it shows his commitment. She thinks this is all gaslighting, right? Like these are all the things that he's probably told her over the years or however long they were together. And she believes that like this toxic behavior that he's displaying is somehow showing how much he loves her. That is not the case. This is crazy behavior. It is 100% toxic. You do not show up at someone's house uninvited. Even if you are dating them, you don't show up at someone's house uninvited. And you're not about to sit in my porch chairs and just hang out just because you want to be in my like presence. It's weird. And if you really sit and think about it, like tell the story to your friend as if it's not her. Just tell her story like, hey girl, I got this friend, da, 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 right? She's probably going to say the same kind of like things that we're saying. Like, that's crazy, girl. Why would you put up with that, blah, blah, blah. And then tell her, be like, girl, you know what? That's your story. Because sometimes when you're in it, and I speak from experience, sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize how silly the behavior that you're putting up with is because you're in the center of it, right? But once you remove yourself from the situation and you kind of look at it from the outside looking in, you just sit and think like, why did I put up with this? Or why do I think this is okay? Or and then once you start asking the whys, then you're like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And you make a plan and you stop it. The fact that she's seeing other people tells me that she has moved on, right? But I'm a little concerned because she was like, it shows his, what was it? What was the word that she used, Nicole? It shows his what? Like that he's endearing to her? What was the word that she used?
Commitment. It shows his commitment to getting back with her was the phrase that she used there.
Now, here's where I have a problem. Now, she's seeing other people, so it appears that she's moved on. But she's like concerned about his commitment to get back with her. Why? If she's done with this man, why does it matter how committed he is to get back with her if she's done? So it doesn't seem like she's 100% done. It seems like she's trying to move on, but it doesn't seem like your friend is 100% done. She should be, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. You have to tell her that this is crazy. You have to tell her it's unsafe. You have to tell her that you value her life, even though she doesn't seem to be valuing her life. And this man seems a little dangerous. You can only advise her, though. You can't force her to do anything.
So I So one, I definitely think that Casey is not crazy. This man's creepy. Anybody that's coming to sit on the front porch, they ain't all up there. Okay. Listen, the stairs are going to a floor, but ain't no floor. Okay. Cause it's not, it's missing some crayons out the box. It's not adding up. The math ain't mathing. Okay. All the phrases. It's not adding up. He's crazy. If you are sitting outside of somebody's house till 2:30 a.m., even if he hadn't been there the whole time, let's say he went and got some McDonald's and came back, that's still creepy. You don't just sit outside somebody's house until they get back home to force them to talk to you. So I definitely think you are not crazy. I think that your friend thinks this is cute because it's showing that he does want to be back with her, and maybe he does, but he's obviously very controlling, and he's obviously going to harass her to get attention. And she seems to like the attention a little bit, but she needs to understand that this is very dangerous. And so I would have a heart-to-heart conversation with her and say, listen, you think this is a game, but look at these people that have died at the hands of their lover. This can be really serious, and you're never going to have a serious situation with anybody else until you move forward. And like Janine says, I would encourage my friend to get a restraining order against this man, because at least you have some documentation to protect yourself in the event that you then do feel like you're in danger. I would also alert my friend and encourage her, hey, although this man's hanging outside your house and begging to talk to you, do not ever let him inside of your home. We don't know what he'll do if you try to force him out. You see that he don't want to leave when he outside. You think he gonna leave once he inside? Absolutely not. She could be held hostage real quick. So I would caution and tell her, please don't ever let this man inside your house, because this is a red flag for me. And then I would also say, hey, let's make a safe word. Okay, if you ever call me and say this safe word or this safe phrase, I know to call the police immediately, because I know that he's there and he's in danger. So I would say, hey, let's say the safe word is, I don't know, Fritos. Hey, girl, do you want a Frito pie? That's your safe phrase. And you know, no questions asked, I'm going to call the police, and I'm getting the cavalry over there because you are in danger by that phrase. So I would definitely get a safe phrase for my friend. Even if she thought she wasn't as serious, I would still have that just in case. Because if he's lurking around, he's bound to eventually get in that house when she is there, whether she's sleeping and she doesn't see him on the camera, and all of a sudden he's going from the camera, you don't see him anymore, he's in your house. That is very, very dangerous. So I would definitely get a safe phrase. I would definitely I agree with you, Janine. She needs a restraining order. And I would never, ever, ever let this man in my house, even if you thought that he was harmless. Honestly, I don't really let exes in my house. You an ex. I don't know what you're going to do. You can't get in my house. Just saying.
That's real. Okay, so I'm about to tell you what the second letter says. Hi, ladies. Love you both so much, and I don't even know you. You know us. And then it says, okay, I'm not the best at telling stories, but when Janine shared the story about her ex, who was the topic of conversation on Twitter after his passing, I knew I wanted to share the story with you. So here it is. So my ex and I were together for 8 years. We met through a mutual friend. He was kind and attentive. He had a great job, and he was great with my children. He seemed to be very family oriented, at first at least. As time went on, he became busier, and he was often away for business trips. He would have work functions and was constantly on the phone. Due to the nature of his business, I attributed it to him climbing the corporate ladder. She has that in quotes. Well, one day, while my husband was away, I received a suspicious package in my mailbox. I didn't really notice that it wasn't postmarked until I opened it to find a picture of my husband with kids at what seemed to be an elementary school or maybe a rec center. I figured my husband was either mentoring or coaching or something. Honestly, I didn't really give it much thought until the pictures started coming more frequently, and they would only arrive when my husband was away on business. I eventually asked him about them, and he explained that it was probably his crazy ex dropping the pictures off. I had a lot of questions. The first being, how does your ex know where we live? The second was, why is she sending you pictures of these children? After a ton of digging that took about a couple of years, I found out that the children in the picture were my ex-husband's children, and he was living a double life. This is the story of how he became my ex, because I was done. After we divorced, he became extremely possessive, and he has run off several men that he's seen me dating by doing strange things like showing up at their jobs or sitting next to them in church or placing things on their car, all kinds of weird things. Ladies, how can I get my ex to realize that he's causing the situation to be worse and he should just move on so that we can both move on? Signed, D.
So D, listen, it sounds like this man is over crazy because he got a whole nother family and didn't tell you, and it took you years to find out. Years to find out. So I would get a restraining order. If you haven't sold your house and moved, I would sell my house and move. I wouldn't want anybody to know where I was living. I'm wondering how that ex actually got your address and how she found him, which means that she can find, she knows where you live. He knows where you live. He's being possessive. He's running away people, but he got a whole nother situation over here. So how crazy can you be? How can you be possessive when you got another girl with kids? Did you say kids? Janine, with multiple kids. So he needs to go sit down somewhere. So I would definitely get a restraining order. If that did not work, I would up and move. If that did not work, I would get Tito and them to go and really jump on him, because he has to understand no means no. You need to leave me alone and move on. You are a liar and a cheater, and you did not appreciate me when you had me. But now you want to run off everybody I have. This is not going to work. I would get some paperwork on him, and I would sue him for harassment if he violates the restraining order, because you can sue people for harassment and get monetary rewards on that too. So sometimes you have to hit people where it hurts monetarily for them to be able to leave you alone. But every time I see him, every time I had any documentation that he was contacting me, putting things in the mail like this ex-wife did, I would file more complaints. The more complaints you have, the better it's going to be for your lawsuit to get your little financial ends met and for him to eventually go to jail. That's my 2 cents. I don't like put people in jail, but sometimes you got to let people sit there and think about how they've treated you for them to be able to leave you alone.
Okay, D, let me tell you this. What this sounds like to me is that your ex-husband, I don't want to call him your husband, your ex-husband is toxic. His ex is toxic, and that's just what it is. He had a whole other family. The ex is toxic because if he's moved on, clearly, unless they were together at the same time, which they could have been either way, she knows where you live, so she knows that y'all are married. And if he was cheating, then that's toxic, because why is the lady with the kids that are your husband's coming to your house when you're his wife? I mean, this is just messy. It's messy all the way around. And it sounds like your ex-husband is toxic. His ex was toxic, and they're perfect for each other. So maybe they should be together. But we still have to be concerned about your safety. This is strange. He showing up at the people that you're dating's job and sitting next to them in church and sitting outside. Like it's all kinds of crazy things he's doing. Yo, why does he know where you are? Why does he know what you're doing? Why does he know who you're dating? Why does he have so much information that he can then take these people and run them off? I don't know what your husband does. You told us that he was climbing the corporate ladder, but you didn't tell us exactly what he does. Unless he's like police, CIA, whatever, he shouldn't know where you are, what you're doing. That leads me to believe that either he is tapped into something that you have, he may have some sort of tracking device on you. Like, you need to be very mindful of what this man is doing. And it's more than him just trying to run off your new dates. This is unsafe. And I want you to take it seriously. Yeah, he's your ex. You were together for 8 years, so I would take it that you love him, right? You don't stay with somebody for 8 years. I don't know if you were together a total of 8 years or you were married for 8 years, but whatever. You don't stay with someone for 8 years and not love them or care about them or be concerned about them, right? So you don't want to see anything bad happen to him, but you also don't want to be the victim. Let me reiterate that to you. You don't want to be a victim. So yeah, it might just be annoying, but it's creepy too, right? So while you may just see it as like, oh, he's annoying, like he keeps running off these guys that I'm talking to. No, be mindful that he's being creepy. And you should just take the precautions necessary to make sure that you stay safe. It's a little strange. And I think that, this is just a side note. I think that because people have creepy exes, and because we're so used to it now, we've kind of just become accustomed to working around it. We shouldn't have to work around men and their weird, pissing in the sand and marking their territory. We shouldn't have to do this. They don't own us. I just want us to just remember this. The men don't own us. And to be very honest with you, even if they're just mildly inconveniencing us, it's not worth it. It's just not. Even if it's mild inconvenience that you keep texting me and I ask you to stop texting me, or you keep calling me and I've asked you to stop calling me. Maybe it's not just being unsafe. Maybe it's just a mild inconvenience. We still don't deserve it. Tell them to move on. And if they don't know how to move on, let the law tell them how to move on. Because I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of it for you, D. I'm tired of it for all of us. We don't want to be with you. Please go on. Find something else to do. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
But it was a good soapbox to be on. I mean, you definitely needed to say that, and I agree with it 100%. So shout out to the soapbox, because sometimes we need that to just drive the point home, because y'all think this is all fun and games right now. Y'all need to be really, take this stuff really seriously. And if they don't think they're being, oh, I wasn't really being serious. Oh, I wasn't going to do nothing. Then let them know, hey, I'm concerned. And I'm very, I'm taking this seriously, so that they can back off. So you have the right to have been on a soapbox, Janine.
Yes. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. But maybe one day I will tell story time about my crazy exes and the crazy things that I overlooked because I was like, oh, they're harmless. They're not going to do anything. And then decades later, I'm still dealing with the consequences of it. And to be very honest with you, I am I just asked Ken while you were talking, Nicole. I was like, did you think that this happened this much before you started talking to me? Did you think that, exes were weird and they did strange things like this much? And he was like, no, I didn't. But now I think it's a thing. I think that we are just so used to these men being crazy and possessive and nuts that we're just oh, okay. I mean, it's just how we've become desensitized to anything else. I think that we've become desensitized to this, and I think it's coming at our detriment. Just y'all be safe, and don't trust nobody. I'm just saying. Let me take that back. I'm not going to say don't trust anyone. Just be safe and be hyper vigilant about the people that you are in relationships with and the people that you have been in relationships with, because it could literally be, the death of you. And we don't want that to happen. We want y'all to be here.
All right, Janine. So what did you learn new this week?
So what I learned new this week is that 50% of people who break up with one another rekindle the relationship. And it jumps to 57% when we're talking about people who would like to try to have sex with their ex. So 50% of people try to rekindle the relationship with their ex. Why, y'all? Just why? There's a reason why they're your ex. But 57% of people try to sleep with their ex. Y'all, let's stop dipping and dabbing in what we did yesterday. If we broke up with them, there's a reason why we're calling them our ex, right? Just keep that in mind. What did you learn new this week, Nicole?
So I learned that according to the Bureau of Justice statistics, over half of female murder victims are killed by an ex. Let that sink in, ladies. Over half. Sad statistic.
It's super sad, especially when we're out here just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right. So are you ready for the motivational moment after that horrible statistic?
Let's do it.
So the motivational moment comes from Mae West, old school actress Mae West. And she said, all discordant lovers should be given a second chance, but with somebody else. Let that sink in. And please remember that, ladies. There's a reason that person is your ex. Set boundaries and move forward. Playing around could get you into some dangerous situations that you don't deserve to be in. Until we meet again,
pray, work, slay.
And show off your melanated excellence.
Bye!
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh, That's Deep BWC. Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion Media production.